Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. As some of you guys may know, there has been an undeniable buzz surrounding the highly anticipated launch of Amouage King Blue, part of the Steam Library Collection Opus 15. Amouage's legacy of crafting exquisite masterpieces spans for many years, and as time unfolds, so does their remarkable legacy of creations. Now, there has been a mix of feelings and misunderstandings regarding the new release of King Blue. Some really like it, some find it repetitive because of Silver Oud, and others are puzzled by its name and the way its scent is presented due to its complex and dual nature. By the way, the box is just incredible, and I love the bottle. Now, to make this review fair, I actually went ahead and purchased this fragrance. It's very costly. It costs about $500, and for me to give a fair review to you guys, or not really review, just to tell you guys what I really think about this fragrance, I went ahead and purchased this one. Because a lot of people, they come and they say, you know, these fragrance houses, they send these fragrances for free, so these guys, they're all gonna come and talk good about these fragrances. So I went ahead and purchased it because, as I mentioned, there's been such a buzz regarding this fragrance, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and give my true take of this fragrance. I'm gonna tell them exactly what I think, and today I will address these perspectives directly with my detailed fragrance analysis, and I'm here to untangle this matter once and for all. So, as I mentioned earlier, King Blue is inspired by The Art of Living by Rene Magritte. The way it alludes to his work carries an air of mystery, a distinctive feature of surrealism. But the question remains, is this connection in the craftsmanship, the marketing, or within our perception? While I can speculate on how it mirrors his work and philosophy, it undoubtedly incorporates some quintessential Amouage elements, including the mentioned oud note. This oud, which is a psalm oud, is the same oud used in Silver Oud from the same library collection, but in here, it presents itself more in an approachable manner. What sets King Blue apart is its retention of that captivating texture, but without the smokiness and the warm, earthy, dry soil cypre oil, elements that can render Silver Oud somewhat challenging for some. This milder version broadens its appeal, allowing a wider audience to appreciate the essence of this facet of Amouage's offerings. It simplifies this style for easier understanding. Alright, before we begin, let's discuss some interesting ingredients in King Blue that create that blue-like facet or pigment when you initially spray it. So we have limonene found in citrus fruit peels and citronellol found in floral and citrus oils. These are some essential fragrant compounds used in perfumery for creating citrusy, bright, tart, zesty, floral, fresh, rosy, lemony, with slightly fruity nuances. Now, interestingly, citronellol, even though it is a fresh compound, it can act as a stabilizer and fixative in perfumery, helping to extend the longevity of a fragrance. So these two compounds are definitely some major keys or components in King Blue to create that fresh, bright, fruity, and zesty opening. But is that all there is to it, or is that just a camouflage? King Blue is akin to a chess match, constantly keeping you guessing. Even when you think you've unraveled its secrets, it lures you into a sense of wonder about what it's truly orchestrating with your sense of smell. And I think that's what it makes the scent so interesting, fun, playful, mass appealing, yet complex and sophisticated at the same time. This is the bottle. It has an amazing finish to it. The cap is magnetic. Very high quality and very beautiful. All right, so let's spray some of this and see what we get. All right, so as you guys saw, I went ahead and sprayed this on my hand and on paper to kind of give you guys the best comparison. And again, as always, I've sprayed this many times to learn this life cycle of King Blue before I did my video. And also what I understood from a lot of reviews that there was, or still that there's a lot of confusion going on with this fragrance. So people that have experienced silver oud, they think this is redundant because all they smell is mostly that Assam oud. And people that have not experienced silver oud, they're confused by the name because it's Blue King, the name Blue, so they're expecting something like Aventus or Bleu de Chanel or Sauvage, and that's not what you're getting here. So, but what I think that Amouage has been trying to do with King Blue was to create a bridge between fragrance connoisseurs and regular people that would like to experience Assam oud, or at least Amouage wanted to create the possibility for mass people to experience Assam oud in a different color or in a different shades of color, which in here would be the shades of blue, if you will. And that's, I think, why it's called King Blue. So with that being said, King Blue does open up right away with a very zesty, tart, citrusy, and lemony opening. You definitely get that right away. But also within few seconds, you're welcomed with that very strong, powerful, animalic, cheesy Assam oud in here, which you're getting about 30 to 35% of it in this creation, which is a lot. But again, the citrusy and lemony top notes, which comes from citronellol and limonene, are so strong that create this very beautiful sillage. And that's also another perspective that I wanted to cover, which a lot of reviewers or a lot of people in their reviews, they say that they really love the sillage of the scent when it lingers around. And that's what it makes this fragrance also complex and gives it a dual personality, because it's true, when it lingers around, it has a different aura to it than when you bring it close and you smell it close. So when you initially spray it, or let's say if you walk by someone and they smell it, it smells fresh, smells very beautiful, sweet, fresh, citrusy, tart, but it does have a heaviness to it, but it's not as animalic as you would smell if you bring it close. So that's why a lot of people like its sillage more than when you bring it close. Now, to me, both ways are just heaven, because I have a lot of experience with oud and I love oud, as you all know from my channel, and I think this is a masterpiece. And I think this is definitely not redundant, because I totally see the whole point of the creation of this scent, what they've been trying to do with this, because I know they're trying to create an experience for people that don't have a lot of experience with oud, to make it easier on their nose so they can enjoy the Assam oud in here, because it's such a beautiful scent, and enjoy the mixture of it, how it can affect the fragrance and how it can change that pigment of the scent when they add that to something fresh, like, you know, citrusy and lemony facets. So I think this is a very fun, playful, and mass-pleasing fragrance, but yet it's very complex and sophisticated at the same time. Yeah, this is very addictive. It's beautiful. All right, so to kind of recapture the whole thing again, King Blue opens up with a blast of zesty, invigorating, citronellol, and limonene, which creates this lemony, citrusy, tart, sorbet-like feel, which is really interesting, which not a lot of reviewers talked about that tart, sorbet-like kind of a feel, which it does have that, especially when initially you spray it and it lingers in the air. You definitely get that feel, which is very beautiful. Now, bear with me, as I mentioned, because this is just the first few seconds of initial spray, and immediately within a minute, the Assam oud kicks in, which has this cheesy animalic woodiness, yet fresh with a nutty, vetiver, peppery, musk, and smoky incense-like aroma. Now, regarding Assam oud, I have experienced Assam oud by itself, and I do own it as an oil, which is a very beautiful scent on its own. But again, you have to be used to oud fragrances to be able to enjoy them. Now, besides the fact that Assam oud and a lot of ouds, they have this cheesy barnyard and animalic facets to them, they do have specific characteristics to them as well, which Assam oud has its own characteristics. Assam oud has a rich, resinous, and complex aroma. It is characterized by warm, sweet, and woody notes with hints of earthiness, tobacco, and touch of smokiness. It is highly valued in perfumery for its depth and longevity. Yeah, the balance of the fresh tart lemony sorbet feel with the layer of Assam oud under it creates a very unique texture that is so well orchestrated that's almost feels unbelievable. Like when I smell it, I cannot believe it how they achieved this so well. And again, the craftsmanship of blending the notes in here is just incredible. It's just done so well, and I keep repeating myself, and that's what it makes this fragrance a perfection, because it's a complete scent. And what I mean with that is it has the serious, complex, sophistication part to it, but then yet at the same time, it has that playful, youthful, energizing, bluish, fun, mass-pleasing side to it as well, which just creates a perfect, unique fragrance. All right, so as always, I speak to the perfumers to make sure that I get detailed information regarding the specific compounds in the fragrance, so it kind of makes sense to you guys how and why the fragrance smells the way it does. And I have to say, most of the perfumers, after a while, they do get tired, or some of them, they don't want to provide the information because they don't want to give out too much of information. But again, I wanted to provide you guys all the detailed information for you guys to understand why this scent smells the way it does. And here comes some schooling. Now, the citronellol is coming from the citrus. It is naturally contained in mandarin. For the mandarin, two different kinds, one essential oil, which is specific quality where they only take one part of the oil and it smells more citrus forward, more bitter and more sparkling. Now, as far as the black currant goes, it adds a touch of color, sweet, and tartness to the top note. It adds a juicy and uplifting quality to the fragrance while adding sweetness. And the pink pepper adds a fresh, bright, spicy, and slightly sweet aroma with hints of floral and fruity notes to the opening as well. Now, as we get to the heart of King Blue, the fragrance becomes very woody, but also something very interestingly happens with the vibrant, tart, citrusy, or lemony opening. That citrusy and lemony, or some might want to call it shades of blue, turns into more of a sweet, fruity accord. The fragrance becomes warm, spicy, and of course, the oud becomes more forward in your face. So one thing that people didn't mention in the reviews is that King Blue definitely has some balsamic facets to it, and that's due to the usage of frankincense in the heart and patchouli in the base. You see, frankincense adds rich, woody, and resinous scent with hints of citrus, pine, and balsamic notes. So you can see that frankincense plays a very important role in here. What it does, it carries the kind of citrusy notes from the top note, and it keeps forcing that throughout the heart and the dry down of the scent. So it kind of amplifies that, and it makes sure that the top notes, they get a little bit help from frankincense, its citrusy facets. And then also what's happening, that frankincense accentuates the resinous characteristics of Assam oud as the Assam oud starts to settling down and getting closer to its dry down. Because I do have Assam oud, as I mentioned, as an oil, and when it starts to dry down, it loses its funky, animalic, cheesy characteristics, and it takes more of its woody, rich, and resinous personalities. And I think incense definitely helps with that in here. Again, frankincense plays a very big role, or a very important key in King Blue. It provides depth, warmth, and complexity while giving King Blue a sense of spirituality and calmness. Then, of course, in the heart, the amber quartz starts to shine, which brings dark yet soft powdery facet to composition. Tree resins such as frankincense, myrrh, and benzoin are added to create the amber cord. In the dry down of King Blue, patchouli's earthy, sweet, and woody notes blend with a subtle, exotic leather chord. There are even hints of smokiness, likely from Assam oud's base layer, adding complexity to the fragrance. All right, so this is a little bit of extra information, but in King Blue, we also find benzyl salicylate, benzyl benzonate, and eugenol. These ingredients serve as fixatives, extending the fragrance's lifespan. They have sweet, balsamic, and sometimes spicy or floral scents, enhancing and harmonizing the overall fragrance profile. All in all, what you get with King Blue, it is a fresh, tart, citrusy, lemony, very woody fragrance that has a big dose of Assam oud, which is somewhat animalic but very well tamed compared to silver oud. It has a nice dose of patchouli in it. It becomes fruity, warm, spicy, resinous, sweet, leathery, earthy, and somewhat with hints of smoke in the dry down from Assam oud, and it's also balsamic and more so on your skin. Alright, you guys, so that's all I have for King Blue by Amouage. And I forgot to mention the name of the perfumers, Hamid Marathi Kashani, which I'm a big fan of him. He got some phenomenal fragrances under his belt. And also Alexis Gurugian, and I hope I'm saying his last name correctly, he also got some phenomenal fragrances under his belt as well. So again, this one was a great purchase for me because it was a surprise for me. And also it was a great experience as well because I read so many misleading reviews about this scent, and so many people misunderstood the concept of this fragrance. And I wanted to make sure that I provide you guys with the most accurate and intricate information so you guys understand the concept behind this fragrance that Amouage was trying to achieve, which they did it flawlessly. I did mention this in my video, but this King Blue was supposed to be for two groups of people or two groups of fragrance enthusiasts, fragrance connoisseurs that are into oud fragrances, and fragrance connoisseurs that are into regular mass-pleasing type of scents. And this one falls right in the middle. And I think the ones that are trying to get to know Assam oud, this would be a great fragrance to start because you do have a great dose of Assam oud in here, 30 to 35%, that's a lot. I would definitely give this one a try, definitely get a sample of this first, test drive this, and see how it works on your skin, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as I did. With that being said, we continue my video. That's all I have. Thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye.